Will Howard, it's on you. It's college football smothered and covered.
You are Locked On College Football, Smothered and Covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome into a Thursday edition of College Football Smothered and Covered. I'm Barrett Sallee. You can follow me on all of the social accounts, literally all of them, at Barrett Sallee, BarrettSallee. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. You can get a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets guaranteed if you win your first $5 bet. That's right, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Only at FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. We have a busy show today. It is Thursday, so you will get SEC picks. Been okay with SEC picks the last couple of weeks. Look, against the spread is very hard. If you're a little bit over 500, you're making money. You got to be, 54.5%? We're going to get there this week. I promise you, we're going to get there this week. That is not solicited betting advice. That is unsolicited betting advice. I don't even know if that's legal. If it's illegal, I'm sorry. I take it back. Skip that part of the show. Don't skip anything else, though. We'll also talk about Riley Leonard and Florida's big game against Ole Miss. So we'll get those two in time to shine. Also, we'll talk about going ham. What does that mean? It's what the kids say, but it also is applicable to this weekend in college football. But first, in time to shine. It's Thursday. It's time to shine. It's also time to shine for you, Will Howard of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Look, you guys, I know you've listened to this show, and I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing all of that stuff, leaving reviews. And those of you who are P1s, loyal listeners, know that I have not been on the Will Howard hype train. Never have been. And after that loss to Oregon, I got off it as well, but got back on a little bit against Penn State. I started to believe. I don't know if I believe this weekend against Indiana. And there's a reason why. It's because of Seth McLaughlin. It's because of injuries on the offensive line. Now, Ohio State has had injuries on the offensive line kind of throughout the season, but the Seth McLaughlin thing is interesting because now you got to shuffle everybody around. Now you got to find somebody else to help set the protection schemes at the line of scrimmage. Seth McLaughlin is a big part of the entire offense, making sure offensive linemen on both sides know exactly what's going on. So losing your center against a defense like Indiana, which, look, is Indiana the Baltimore Ravens when Ray Lewis was there? No, of course not. Is Indiana a pretty well-accomplished defense? Yes. And now they're going up against an offensive line that is sketchy. So because of that, it's not the offensive line's time to shine. It's Will Howard's time to shine because he's going to get pressure. I think when you look at how this game's going to play out, there will be times where Indiana gets into the backfield. There will be times where Will Howard is asked to do more than he has all season. And I truly believe that. Even the Oregon game, this will be the toughest test that he has. No, Indiana's not better than Oregon. Walk that one back. But this is a different situation. He's going to be on the run. He's going to have to make split-second decisions. He's going to be in positions where he is the guy who has to go win a game, not just be a caretaker. And how often has that happened this year? Not that many times. It didn't really happen in the Penn State game. The only time it's really happened was the Oregon game. And look, he played fine up until he slid 1 second after the clock ended and cost his team a chance to potentially win the game. But we haven't really seen situations where Will Howard has to be the guy. We've seen situations where Quinshon Judkins has had to be the guy, Travion Henderson, Jeremiah Smith, that defense. We've seen all of that. Have we seen Will Howard be in that situation? No. Is it going to happen this weekend? Yeah, I think it might. I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I'm picking Indiana to cover. I don't know about win, but picking them to cover. That's not a cute little story. They're a pretty darn good football team. So when I look at how this game's going to operate, Kurt Cignetti knows that there's a question mark up front. And that defense has been able to get pressure on a lot of different quarterbacks in a variety of different ways. So I expect Indiana to get really creative up front, test that offensive line for Ohio State, and basically say, Will Howard, look, dude, if you beat us, cool. Because they're not going to let Quinshon Judkins beat them. They're not going to let Travion Henderson beat them. They're not going to let Jeremiah Smith. They're not even going to let Emeka Egbuka. I think that you're going to look at a team that said, or a defense that says, okay, we're going to pick and choose who we double team. We're going to pick and choose when we bring run blitzes, but we're going to make sure that Will Howard has to make decisions that he's never made before, not even at Kansas State. So, Will Howard, it is your time to shine. Next up on Time to Shine, going ham. If you see on the rundown over there, it says go ham. Now, I'm an old guy. I'm 44. Feel like I'm a kid trapped in a 44-year-old's body. And in this particular line of work, you kind of have to be younger. You kind of have to act young, right? So I know going ham is what the kids used to say. Now it's stuff like Sigma, and I don't know what a lot of these things mean. And I ask my 13-year-old all the time, and he's like, Dad, don't say stuff like that. He gets embarrassed. It's hilarious. Like, so Riz. Stop it! Gets so mad at me. I'm okay with being sus, though. But we're going to go ham. Actually, we're not. But Kenny Dillingham needs to go ham. I don't know how many people out there have recognized that one of the best stories in the sport is taking place in Tempe, Arizona. We've talked about Vanderbilt. We've talked about Indiana. Those are great stories. Indiana is like one of the best we've ever seen. Even Texas A&M has had that mantle a couple of times. Kenny Dillingham in Arizona State is one of the best stories we've seen in a long time. They were picked last in the Big 12 at Media Days. It's like Major League. Every publication in America has picked us to finish last. Now they're sitting here in control of their own college football playoff destiny 2 weeks before the end of the regular season. Why? Because if they beat BYU this weekend and hold that head-to-head tiebreaker, all they got to do is beat Arizona to get into the Big 12 championship game. And if they win that, they're going to have one of the automatic bids as one of the top 5 conference champions. They may not get the bye because we know the Mountain West has that right now with Boise State, but they get in. And think about that. You're talking about a team that was a joke. I'm not saying Kenny Dillingham was on the hot seat, but he was kind of teetering, right? And now look at where they are. Now look at how they've progressed through quarterback injuries. They started Jeff freaking Sims one time this year. And if you've listened to Tom Luganville and me on SiriusXM, you know that's kind of a walking joke, the Jeff Sims story. And they're playing BYU, a BYU team that saw its perfect season come crashing down last week. That is on the outside looking in of one of those buys that used to be the talk of the town. And now everyone's wondering, I'm wondering, I don't know everyone, but I'm wondering, what are you? Because they've skated by several times. They couldn't do it last week at home. And now they've got an Arizona State team that has all the momentum. They're in the top 25. Some people are starting to take notice. You should be one of those people. And I think you will be one of those people this weekend after they beat BYU straight up. And then everyone will look around and say, oh, Kenny Dillingham, let's go. So Arizona State, go ham. It is time for you to shine. It is time for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more time to shine. Florida, could they spring an upset? What about Notre Dame? Can they stay in it? We'll talk about it next. It's College Football Smothered and Covered. Today's show brought to you by Skylight Frames. Missing someone for the holiday season and want them to be part of your festivities from afar? Skylight is the best way to do it. What is Skylight? What's a digital frame? I got one for each one of our parents, right? My dad, my stepmom, my mom, and my mother-in-law. My father-in-law passed away, but we got one for each of their houses so they can see everything that's going on in our lives. We talk to them as much as we possibly can, but they want to see pictures. We take pictures all the time. All of my pictures go into the Apple Cloud, but I take the best ones and I send them to their skylights. It's super easy. You get your designated skylight address, you just email them, and suddenly they just pop up. And it's like a Christmas gift every single time. So they can stay up with whatever's going on in our lives. They can see, hey, you know what? The kids were at a Braves game. Let's call the kids and ask them how it went. That's what Skylight does for you. We've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame that your whole family will love. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. It's so easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Seamless sharing lets you invite friends and family to easily share photos via the free Skylight mobile app or simply email, which is how we go about it. Add new photos straight from your phone from anywhere. It only takes one tap on your phone and you send new photos to a frame across the country. It really is that simple. And now, as a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $20 off your first Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/college. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/college. Get $20 off your purchases now at skylightframe/college. Show also brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. Now, after the pandemic, when sports started to come back, golf and NASCAR were the first two, among the first two that came back. And look, I used to be a big NASCAR guy, am a big golf guy. So I got on Prize Picks and I started to make it interesting. Because what else were we gonna do? We're sitting there stuck at our houses, so might as well make it fun. Downloaded the Prize Picks app and bam, started making money all over the place. What you do is you pick two or more players with over-under stats. You pick them. You can get money right there, available in pretty much every state around there. You can even win 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 picks. It's the best way to get in on the action in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. It's the best place to get real money sports action. Join the over 10 million users and sign up today. You'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday each Tuesday. Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide you even more value for your lineups. Download the Prize Pick app. Locked On College. You can use Locked On College. Get $50 instantly after you download your first $5 lineup. That's right. Use code Locked On College. You'll get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, you shall run your game. Let's do some more time to shine. Show Florida the way. That is what DJ Lagway has to do. He has to show Florida the way. And I think he can. I think when you look at what DJ has done, he's done a great job revitalizing that offense, revitalizing a unit that was, let's just say, it was sketchy at times. There were times throughout the course of the season where we didn't know exactly what we were going to get. But what we did see is a coming of age, so to speak. And now Jaden Baugh has joined that parade. Let me tell you, I've seen Ole Miss, saw them up close and personal, beat the Georgia Bulldogs 2 weeks ago. And they're the talk of the town, and they should have been the talk of the town. They had a bye week. They're going in to play Florida in the Swamp, which obviously is a tough place to play. DJ Lagway has to be a star. DJ Lagway has to be the guy that everybody at Florida thought he could be when he signed as the number one quarterback prospect in the country. Can he do it? It's going to be hard. Florida's offensive line's better. They found some playmakers outside, the Gators have. But Ole Miss is going to be coming for him. Ole Miss is going to be after him. They're going to be after him like white on rice. Go do it, my man. Go do it. Go show everybody. Prove everybody that you can be that guy, that savior, the guy who you can build the foundation of the new era of Florida football on. Can you get into a shootout with Jackson Dart? It's going to be a tall order, but you're at home. You got the support. You got a chance to set the foundation and prove a point to the rest of the world that, you know what, you were wrong about Billy Napier. You were wrong about me. You were wrong about this team. I don't know if he can do it, but I guarantee you he can keep it close. Ole Miss has had some issues. We know that, including at home. Now I'm on the road. Last time they lit up Arkansas. Don't think it's going to happen this time. Jackson Dart's going to have pressure all over him. We saw it last week. Florida's defensive front is actually pretty darn solid. See if DJ Lagway can do it this week. Let's see if on a short field, DJ can take advantage. Because if he does, look out. There could be an upset brewing between the Gators and the Rebels. All right. Last thing in time to shine before we hit another break. Riley Leonard's big moment. This is a big week. You look at the ranked-on-ranked matchups. There aren't that many, but there is one between Army and Notre Dame that is massive. Look, Riley Leonard did not start the season the way I thought he would. I thought Riley Leonard would come out hot and never let up. I was wrong. But he has been playing well for the last, month and a half or so. There will be eyes on this game because we're sitting there now in terms of the playoff talking about bad losses versus good wins versus good losses and all this other stuff. In terms of bad losses, Notre Dame's got one of the biggest, probably the biggest, to Northern Illinois. Is that enough to overcome another one to an undefeated Army team? I don't know. But in this case, this is now considered a good win because Army's sitting there undefeated. They're ranked. And look, we can sit here and talk about whether Army's overrated, Notre Dame's anybody's overrated. If you have a number next to your name, if you're ranked by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, you have their respect already. So Notre Dame, it doesn't matter what we think. The selection committee is very high on Army. So this is a great chance for Notre Dame to try to overcome that in case they lose next week. which that would be bad to USC. Don't get me wrong, but they don't really have a signature win. All that would be considered a signature win in the eyes of the playoff committee. We agree with it. If you don't agree with it, fine, don't. But the committee recognizes how big of a game this is. So it's on Riley Leonard. Go put Army in a position where it's got to score, where it's got to get 7 and not 3, where simply controlling the clock, controlling the ball is not going to win you a game. That's what they like to do. So go fix that. Go change that. Get those big plays. Make the game a shootout. Make it the way you want to make it. Play your style. It's on Riley Leonard to do that. We'll take a break. SEC picks coming up on the other side. It's College Football Smothered and Covered, powered by Locked On. Show brought to you by Mint Mobile. You know I love great deals as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. It's got to be easy, right? No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. The longest part of the process that I had to spend was actually getting rid of the old provider. To get started, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege, mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. There you'll see a 3-month plan, only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring over your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan, just for $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. That's mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedoncollege. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for details. All right, let's go over some SEC picks. If you're watching, you can see these SEC picks on a fancy little graphic. If you are listening, you will not see them because that's not how podcasts work. They're not a visual medium unless you're watching. If you're watching, it is a visual medium. So we'll go through them real quick. Ole Miss. I'm going to take the Rebels to win, but the Gators to cover plus 10.5. We talked about it last segment, DJ Lagway. I think he can keep them close. I think that offensive line for the Gators can keep Ole Miss at bay. And more importantly, I think Jaden Baugh can control the clock a little bit. That's what's going to make this game, is if Florida can keep Jackson Dart on the sideline. Think they can. Think the Gators will cover. Would I be surprised if we saw an outright win? No, I really wouldn't be floored because it's 2024. It's a wild season. We've seen teams go from the pick of the week, the talk of the town, to everybody make fun of them. We've seen it all the time. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Florida gets the outright win. But I think grabbing the 10.5 with a 10-point game, cashing a ticket, I'm in, man. 100%. UMass at Georgia. Look, Georgia's going to take its foot off the gas. The committee's not going to be that impressed by a blowout over UMass. So grab those 42 points. Georgia wins relatively easy. The committee does need to see Tennessee go nuts. So UTEP is going to be the team that is at the other end of that. So take Tennessee minus the 41.5. In fact, I think Josh Heupel might keep his foot on the gas for a full 4 quarters. I think, honestly, I think about how he is going to react to the playoff committee. He's going to be pissed. going to be really pissed. He's going to take out his anger on UTEP. Kentucky at Texas. Kentucky's a dreadful football team. You tell me that I can get Texas and a 3-touchdown game as a win, as a winning ticket. I'm in. I think Texas, it takes advantage of a Kentucky team that's just broken. They can't block. They can't run the football. Quarterback situation's a mess. I like Mark Stoops as a person, but this is just a lost season. Take Arkansas minus 22 over Louisiana Tech. I think Arkansas needs something to feel good about, so they're going to take out their aggression on the poor Bulldogs. I apologize later. Sam Pittman needs to do some rehab work to his image because it was great before the season or during the first month of the season. Arkansas fans are kind of mad now. Let's get them happy, keep those boosters happy with a cover. Missouri minus 7.5 at Mississippi State. I think Missouri is going to win this game by 17 or 20 points. I think Mississippi State's kind of packed it in. And you're going to see a Missouri team that, even though they're out of the playoff hunt, wants to prove that they still can be competitive moving forward. Alabama at Oklahoma. Alabama minus 13.5 at Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma's defense. They are going to wear down because they're not going to get any help from their offense. None. And so because of that, you're going to see Jalen Milroe have a big day. I think you're going to see those running backs continue to thrive. And even if this game's close, if the defense for Oklahoma starts to wear down, what does that mean? Garbage touchdowns. What do garbage touchdowns mean? A late cover. So give me Alabama minus the 13.5. You're telling me a 14-point game cashes an Alabama ticket? I am in all day, all night, all evening long. And yes, that is a quote from Kilo Ali. Do not listen to that full song if you have kids around because it is highly inappropriate. Texas A&M at Auburn. Look, this is only a 2.5-point spread. This is one where you're kind of looking at going, somebody knows something. Those big buildings out in Vegas were not built on bad decisions by odds makers. And look, full disclosure, I went to Auburn. Grew up going to Auburn games. Worked at Auburn. My family still goes to Auburn games all the time, even when I'm not covering a game there. Jordan-Hare Stadium is one of the toughest places to play in the world at night. It is. And every coach will tell you that. I've talked to coaches about it. They hate playing there at night. Could that be why this is only a 2.5-point spread? Yes, absolutely. I think there's a good chance that Auburn wins this game. I really do. I think they found something in the passing game. Cam Coleman went nuts last weekend. They still have that rushing game, that Jarquez Hunter. The way that they've used all three of those running backs, still got that in their back pocket. And the defense has been pretty solid all year. I think Texas A&M wins. I do think Texas A&M wins. I'm grabbing the 2.5 points. I'm grabbing the 2.5 points because just in case Auburn gets hot and wins it outright, I want to cash that ticket. And then Vanderbilt at LSU. Look, I love Clark Lee. I really do. I love Clark Lee. And it was a great little story early in the season with Vandy. It has come crashing down a little bit. And LSU's an angry football team. LSU's an angry football team. They're going to take it out on somebody, and it's going to be poor Vandy. 8 points. This is going to be a 2-touchdown game. It's going to be a 2-touchdown game. They need to get Garrett Nussmeier right. Look, I understand they don't have any hopes for the college football playoff or the SEC championship game. Those disappeared in Gainesville last week. But they still need to figure out their identity moving forward. Plus, Brian Kelly might hear some things, some rumblings, probably keeps his foot on the gas longer than maybe he would in normal situations. So again, I love Vandy. Great story early in the season, midway through the season. It's over and done with. LSU takes out a lot of anger on the Commodores and covers those 8 points. that will do it for this edition of College Football Smothered and Covered. Really appreciate you guys checking out the show. You can sign up for the subtext group right below in the description. You can also check out Locked on College Football. Spencer McLaughlin does a great job over there. We also have the conference channels that do a great job. Those conference shows, man, they are fantastic. So go follow those guys as well. Don't forget to share the show, subscribe, leave a review, whether it be on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, even if it's a negative review. I love constructive criticism. I want to know what you think of the show so we can make this the best college football show, the best college football podcast on these interwebs. Friday 5 coming up tomorrow. Until then, have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.